Welcome to Virtualize Everything. Today we're going to be taking a look at how to install Open Media Vault inside of a VM on Proxmox. So most of you, like me, probably know Open Media Vault from the Raspberry Pi world, and in some of the early days of Raspberry Pi, Open Media Vault was known as one of the only solutions for a NAS-type device operating system on the Raspberry Pi. And the Raspberry Pi did offer some limitations there, but Open Media Vault performed well for a lot of us home users at the time. Well, I haven't done much with Media Vault since, and I did happen to just stumble on their page the other day, and I noticed almost nothing about Raspberry Pi at all, and instead a lot of conversation about AMD 64 based Debian operating systems. And it appears the new version is even using Debian 12, the newest release of Debian. So I thought it would be fun to take a try at installing this in a VM on Proxmox and maybe experience what Open Media Vault 7 is all about. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to bring you along with me today, and we're going to take a look at the process of getting this up and running to the point that we can change the user password here in a VM on Proxmox. The first thing we're going to need to do is go to the downloads page. And the downloads page shows very, very little options. We have a testing version and a stable version and an SHA key code. If we click on stable, it redirects us to a SourceForge website where we're actually able to download this. And we'll go ahead, click save, and download. I have a copy on my desktop, so I won't be doing this with you. From looking around, SourceForge immediately redirects you to a page after you hit cancel or you're done downloading, saying thank you for downloading. And this kind of presents a problem for us. The problem it presents for us is the fact that we'll usually copy and paste the link address to downloading something somewhere and then bring it over to Proxmox. Well, unfortunately, this is a little bit more difficult to do here. So I'm going to show you how to import this from your download on your desktop. The first thing we're going to do is head over to our Proxmox web interface, and I've already pre-logged into mine. Then we're going to go to locals, and instead of using the download from URL button, I'm actually going to use the upload button. Then I'm going to take and click select file, and I'm going to drag that file into this window. You may have to find this file inside of your folder schema if you're using a different operating system, but here on a Mac, I'm able to simply drag it. Then we'll hit open, and that'll automatically fill out the file name and connect Proxmox to the file to begin the upload process. I'm also going to take advantage of Proxmox's hatching feature, and I'm going to select 256. I'm going to head over to the Open Media Vault website, and I'm going to copy the hash, and I'm going to hit copy. Then I'm going to paste this hash in here and press upload. When this upload's finished, Proxmox will automatically verify this file is what we intended it to be. And I'll be back with you at that point. So now that we're done uploading the file and we've hashed the file with Proxmox, we can see that we got task OK and no error message. This means that the file did indeed hash to be what we expected it to be, and we're good to continue on with the installation process. So we'll go ahead, close this window out. Then we're going to head up to create VM. We'll give it a name. I'm going to call mine OMV for Open Media Vault. You're free to name yours whichever you want. I'll hit next, and here I'm going to select my Open Media Vault image using Linux and the 2.6 kernel. Hitting next, we'll leave everything else here alone. We may be able to use QEMU guest agent, but I have yet to try doing that. Pressing next, disks, we definitely want to use a larger disk than 32 gigs. It's going to be quite hard to store anything we want on a 32 gig drive. Now, the amount of storage you want to give this system may vary For your application, I'll be giving mine 100 gigs today, but in today's point of view, that's actually quite small. So feel free to size this depending on your requirements and available storage as needed. Pressing next, I like to give this 2 CPU cores. I don't believe it's required, but I feel there's a much better performance with 2 to 4 cores. In the dropdown, I select host. Again, this isn't required. It'll run fine on the default setting, but I find a little bit better performance with the host CPU setting in most applications. Next, we'll give it 2 gigs of RAM. I believe this should be enough. And although I have done almost no uploads, at this time, I feel like this should be plenty. Hitting next, I'm going to configure my network settings. You may not need to. And the VirtIO default model for your NIC will be fine. Hitting next, we'll be able to overlook all of our settings and decide whether they're correct or not. They look fine to me, so I'll press finish. Proxmox will then build our VM, and when the name appears, we're going to be able to start it and begin the installation process. To start the VM, we'll press start, and we're going to open a console and press enter. Now we're going to select the English language. And I'm in the United States, so I'm selecting United States. And I want to use American English. At this point, you should notice that this installer is very similar to the Debian installer. And again, if you didn't hear my initial opening statements, this is actually based on Debian. So most of your Debian commands should work the same if you're interacting with this on the command line. My host name, it asks me if I want to set it. Open Media Vault will be fine for me. So I'm going to hit my tab key, select continue, and press enter. Local domain is fine, so I'm hitting tab and pressing enter. It's asking me to enter my root password, and I'm going to hit tab twice and enter. Now enter my password again, press tab twice, and enter. Eastern time zone is correct for me, so I'm pressing enter. I am indeed in the United States and would like to use United States repositories, so I'm hitting enter. And the default Debian.org mirror will be fine for me, so again, I'm pressing enter. We don't have a proxy, so I'll hit tab, select continue, and press enter. Now it's time to set up my bootloader, and we'll hit the down arrow to select our hard drive and press enter. So our installation is complete, so we're asked to continue, so I'll press enter. So now the system has rebooted. It's going to give us our IP address and the opportunity to log in if we so choose. I have no need to log in, but I do need to take note of the IP address that's provided here. Now I'm going to head back to my web browser, open a new tab, and I'm going to enter that IP address in. Pressing enter, the Open Media Vault login panel appears. The Open Media Vault login panel appears, and for my initial login, I'm going to enter a username of admin and a password of Open Media Vault, all lowercase, and click login. With that, we're logged into Open Media Vault, and we can start creating our shares and doing our configuration. The last step, as promised, I'm going to show you how to change this admin password so you no longer are running the default password. Up here under User Settings, we'll click Change Password, and we can enter our own password. Pressing Save. Now our password has been changed. I hope you enjoyed this video, and you're able to start using Open Media Vault if you prefer, and consider liking, sharing, and subscribing to help Virtualize Everything grow. As always, have a good night.